Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. It's beautiful. April 1st, April Fool's Day. I'm just home for a little while with my family, and watching them play outside is so awesome. Just a great day. We got to reflect on some of the good going on right now. One of them is this beautiful weather. So we're supposed to get some snow this weekend, so watch out for that. I also had someone drop off some bath salts, an eye mask, satin eye mask, okay, some peanuts to eat in the tub. Whoever you are, and you know who you are, thank you. It was on my porch when I got home as a way to say thank you, so thank you for that. Let me give you some straight talk on where things sit today in Sioux Falls on April 1. Obviously had more COVID cases today in our city, which is not a surprise. We expect that. We have an important meeting tomorrow with our healthcare partners and our State Department of Health to understand some data modeling that they've done to determine what peak and surge capacities and when those will happen, when that may look like. And you say, Paul, you've talked about this before. I have, but you need enough data in the queue. We still have some of the fewest COVID cases in the whole country right now. So you need a good chunk of data for the predictive modeling to be accurate. And so tomorrow, I'm hopeful we'll have that. That's why you have heard me not talk about peaking in May or July or September, or because I don't know. I haven't been privy to any information, any data yet on what that looks like. Tomorrow, we'll hopefully have that. And so then we'll be able to determine, okay, based on when we think we might see some surge in our city, that will drive actions, further actions. One of those further actions, Jill Franken, health director, mentioned it today in our press briefing, is a curfew, okay? Not a shelter-in-place order. Those are typically done at the state level, but a curfew. What could that look like? Should we be doing that? When should we do that? Let's say we don't have a peak until July. Does it make sense to do that now? Does it make sense to do that in June? So we want to make sure there's enough cabin fever already that people are already getting sick of staying at home. And so what we're trying to figure out is the measures that we're taking and the data that we have, are we having an impact? And I'd like to say already we are seeing some early flattening of the curve based on some of the great measures that you all have taken as individuals. So thank you for doing that. The governor mentioned today, and I would reinforce that personal responsibility is a big part of this. People are reaching out to me saying, hey, there was 12 people at the park. They shouldn't be there. Hey, there's 6 people at the park. Listen, I'm not your nanny. I'm not gonna go narc on these people. Use common sense. Hashtag common sense. That's what we need right now, is just common sense in all these things. I will say that on the federal level, they have changed the tune from 15 days to slow the spread to 30 days to slow the spread through the end of this month. So as you can see, their tune has changed as well. And a lot of states changed their tune today as well. Oklahoma, Florida, issuing some statewide shelter-in-place type things that they're now doing at the state level. So I think following potentially, what they're seeing in their state. Florida, for instance, 5th highest number of COVID cases in the country, so I think that was warranted there. But like the governor said today at a press conference, and I'll reinforce it as well, we are not New York, we are not Miami, we are not Seattle, we are South Dakota. New York has 16 to 25,000 people per square kilometer. We have 4 to 18 people per square kilometer in the state. Now, Sioux Falls is different, so that's why the predictive modeling for Sioux Falls may be different than the state. Right? And that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. So thanks for your patience and just understanding. I shouldn't say patience, because we're moving more rapidly than government has ever moved in your life. I mean, we just had a special council meeting again at 4 o'clock. We are moving quickly as government can move. We have something called due process, where if we're going to have a meeting, we got to notice the meeting 24 hours. Then we got to have the first reading for whatever we're going to act on. Then we have to have a second reading 5 days later. That's the speed of government. So we're trying to be nimble and quick. within those parameters. So they're in conflict with each other, and we're trying to be nimble, and I think we're doing a fairly good job. I want to thank my city council too, who's also done a good job of showing up for these special meetings and making them a priority, and I appreciate the leadership of those folks right now as well. Parks. Here's the thing on parks. Our parks are open, but certain parts of our parks are not. Playground equipment, shelters, places where you touch a lot of stuff. We don't want to see organized sports, basketball, baseball, softball. Those athletic fields are closed. You can still use the parks. You can still take your dogs to the park. The dog parks are closed, but you take your dog to any park. You may have to keep your dog on a leash. I have 2 dogs. I love to use the dog park, but temporarily we're going to shut down the dog parks. And again, remember, all these things that we're putting into place are just temporary measures, and we're continuing to reassess and reassess. And as we get data, say, okay, this is what's happening. Now we maybe have to take another measure. Now we maybe have to look at a curfew. Now we maybe have to look at something different here. And so I thank you for the trust that you've placed in your city on these decisions we're making right now, because they are challenging. For every time we make one decision over here, you got 5 people over here that are upset. And every time you make a decision for this camp over here, you got 5 people over here who are upset. So you need to know that the administration and the leadership are trying to take a balanced, pragmatic approach to COVID in our city. I want to especially thank the healthcare workers of our city, who I know they know what's coming, and they have put a lot of protective measures in place. They're working hard. The public safety officials in the city, our police and our fire, and who are responding to more calls. Honestly, as people stay home more, we see more domestic situations, because you kind of get on each other's nerves, and so we have to deal with more of those. And they're putting themselves in harm's way every time they have to deal with those as well. So my ask today is just that you continue to proceed with caution. You play a role in this process, okay? You play a role. It's not all my responsibility. It's not all the governor's responsibility. It's not all the city's council's responsibility. It is our responsibility, okay? If you say, Paul, I saw all kinds of people at Walmart. What are they thinking? Well, don't let that be you. We're working to deal with those people. We're trying to put in things to deal with those people. Just don't be that person, okay? Don't be that family. Stay at home. Shelter at home. Enjoy time together at home. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Sioux Falls will come out stronger. And we saw an incredible demonstration of One Sioux Falls last night when we were able to announce $1 million that T. Denny Sanford gave to our One Sioux Falls Fund, which is already going to work, helping families stay in their homes, their apartments, their rental houses. We continue to see a need for that fund, and we continue to see people stepping up. So I personally want to thank Denny for that. That was an incredible gift. So more to come. This is a fluid situation. Thanks for being along on the ride with us. We're working hard. Got more calls to make tonight. I was just on the phone with Mayor Allender in Rapid City. He and I are speaking almost daily, bouncing ideas off each other and trying to understand what our role as local government officials is to respond to this process. And so thanks for being smart. Thanks for being safe. You play a role in this, Sioux Falls. We'll get through this. I love you, and I'm praying for our city, and I'd appreciate your prayers as well. You guys have a blessed day. All right, bye-bye.